Hi everyone and welcome to Joe Glass Comics. I'm Joe Glass, comic book writer and creator of series such as The Pride, Acceptable Losses, Glitter Vipers, The Miracles, and so many more yet to come. And this week I want to tell you about some of the comic books which I've been enjoying over the last fortnight. So yeah, stick around and find out what I've been loving. Apologies for the lack of my usual fabulous makeup and possibly the droning sound of a desk fan which I'm needing. It is mad hot here in the UK. I am a sweaty mess 24/7 at the moment, so apologies, I'm not my usual fabulous self, but it's friggin' hot. First up, one we've talked about before on this channel, Homesick Pilots by Dan Waters, Casper Wingard, Aditya Bidikar and Tom Muller. It's just freaking awesome. It's a book which rings a lot of bells for me because I was a bit of a scene kid back in the 90s and noughties, and yeah, not a punk scene kid, which is very much what this is, but there's a lot of similarity. Like, I used to go to a lot of gigs, and Homesick Pilots brings so many things about that back to me, so it's like really fun to have. There's something about the actual overall design which evokes it as well, which is just really brilliantly well done. Casper's artwork continues to get better all the time. He's one of these artists who doesn't necessarily stick to the same style constantly. You can kind of see his style evolving, and with every new project it just gets better. Sometimes you might have had an artist who you really like their earlier style, but now they've changed style and you're not so into it. But with Casper's, it's never the case. Every new thing, I'm like, my god, he's actually better now. What the hell is going on? So that's always fun to see. Dan's story is really awesome. Like I say, it's got all those things evoking the classic sort of punk scene of the 90s and early noughties, but also it is a fun action horror story, which is great for fans of horror and ghost stories, but also fans of giant robot battles. So is an interesting mix and cross section going on. So I highly recommend checking it out if any of that sounds like your bag. Seven Secrets then by Tom Taylor, not to be confused with Tom King, which seems to keep on happening on the internet, and I honestly don't understand how. Two men could not write completely differently. Danielle Nicolo, I hope I pronounced that right, Walter Beaumonte, with Katia Ranalli, and with letters by Ed Ducher. It is a really fantastic series. It's very much an interesting one, which is a bit of a build, in that you can have an issue which almost feels like not much has happened, but also tons has happened all at once. And this kind of has that. This particular issue had loads of it. It was pretty much events which all take place, very much within a day or 2 days, and yet by the end of it, you think about it and just wow, actually that story progressed so much. We've got so much character development, so much mystery, and so many discoveries as well. Because that's the best thing. It's about secrets, but you don't have it just constantly dangled. You kind of have this idea that you're getting to know the secrets yourself, and some are actually revealed pretty quickly. So many stories like this could just wind up just never really telling you what the secret is. It's just always remains a mystery, and so this really just sort of lets you in on it a little bit more. So you always feel like you're part of the story almost. It's a really, really fun concept. I've been really enjoying it, and it keeps me on my toes because I can never tell where it's going next, and that is exciting to have in writing, because that's what you want. You want a story which is going to keep you surprised. Next up, continuing the constant Al Ewing love fest, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, the newest issue, which is also the first part of The Last Annihilation, which is Marvel's latest event involving the cosmic books. It is drawn by Juan Frigeri with Federico Blee and Cory Petit on letters. It is a really great start, really fantastic. I'm loving the fact that, as the cover clearly illustrates, the threat in a cosmic book is actually a mystical threat. So it's kind of adding this idea that, you can have sci-fi, but guess what? We've got magic too, which also makes sense because, several of the members of Guardians of the Galaxy are now magic users, in particular Wiccan. And that's another important bit for me, for why I love it, because Wiccan and Hulkling are still very much front and center. We get a very big setup in this issue on what's going to happen with them in The Last Annihilation, and it's very, very big, important, and interesting. I can't wait to see how it's all going to play out. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy at the moment, the Albion run is just superb. I highly recommend checking it out. Thor has been really superb lately. This is the current series being written by Donny Cates. This issue is actually drawn by Michelle Bandini, Elisabetta D'Amico. Matt Wilson is the colour artist, as usual, with Joe Sabino on the letters. And it's superb. The run which Donny's doing is just great. And I think what is particularly interesting about it is that it is very much a story about dealing with no longer being what you thought you were. And I kind of mean that in a big way. Like, it's not just Thor. The obvious example would be Thor. Now, he is king of Asgard, but being king of Asgard means he isn't the warrior of Asgard anymore. He can't be that, can't be the two things at the same time, and how he's struggling with that. But also, like, all the characters are kind of going through that. From the last story arc in the current run, you've had Donald Blake sort of going through that, and how that affected him in a very negative way. You've had Beta Ray Bill going through it when he loses his hammer, and then, like, what is he without the hammer? And yeah, you kind of have all these characters now being thrust into new roles and struggling with it in their own ways. And I think that's really interesting to see, because it's something which a lot of people can relate to, and a lot of people go through in life. What am I now when I'm no longer this? Champions is a fun, modern superhero series being written at the moment by Danny Law, with Luciano Vecchio on the art, who, as you all know, I fucking love Luciano Vecchio's art, so yeah, there you go. And color art is by Federico Blee again, with Clayton Coles doing the lettering. It is just super gorgeous, super fun. Check it out. It feels very modern and teen focused, which, you know, seeing as it's the teen superhero team, it should be. It feels exactly that it's doing exactly what it says on the tin. Finally, Superman and the Authority. I have been waiting for this comic for what feels like the better part of the year, and it does not disappoint. Grant Morrison continues their absolutely brilliant comic writing skill, and even though this wasn't meant to be their goodbye to mainstream superhero comic books, it kind of feels like it is, because the Green Lantern, as I understand it, was meant to come out after this, but due to various behind-the-scenes shenanigans, we now got to a point where Superman and the Authority is now going to be the last thing, supposedly, released by Grant Morrison at DC Comics. We'll see how that plays out. There's so many times creators have said this is going to be their last time, and it's not. So times change, and we may see more from Grant Morrison in the future at DC. I certainly hope so. But like I said, at the same time, if this is their big goodbye to the big classic superheroes of DC Comics, then it's fitting. It feels very much like the true follow-on to All-Star Superman, which is not to say that it feels like the same character. It definitely feels like a different take on Superman, but one which also fits with Grant Morrison's general ideas of the Man of Steel. Similarly, Manchester Black is the other main character in this story, and Manchester Black has never been more interesting. Manchester Black can quite easily be quite a two-dimensional character, but in this issue alone, like, he actually is now a fantastic foil to Superman. And Clark Kent, Kal-El, whatever you want to call him. So yeah, I would really recommend it. This is a fantastic setup for where this series could go, and what this series could be, and what it has to say about superhero comics and what superheroes mean. It's being drawn by Michael Janin. I hope I pronounced it right. It might be Michael Janin, I do apologise. And Jordi Belay on the colour art, and everyone's bringing their absolute A game. Michael's designs are superb. They are literally stunning. I mean, Superman is like totally Silver Fox Daddy in this issue. So yeah, I think that's going to get a lot of first followers, if nothing else. And yeah, highly recommend checking out Superman and the Authority. It's just going to be a 4-issue mini-series. So yeah, I would say grab every issue. I think they're going to lead to some big things for the character in the future. So yeah, check it out. So those are the comics which I've been loving this last fortnight. Tell me, what have you been loving? What have you read recently which you've just absolutely freaking adored in the comments below? Perhaps I'll check it out. I always like to check out new comic books. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, as well as that, I'm going to be talking more in more videos about my journey through breaking into comics. So yeah, check out that playlist if you haven't already. So yeah, absolutely check those out. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will catch you again soon when I will tell you more about the comics which I've been loving and which I've been enjoying and which can make me continue to love this medium and continue to want to be part of it. So I've been Joe Glass. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I will see you next time.